Hello YouTube. So today I'm going to talk about what it's been like owning this 2000 Mercury Sable for almost 2 years. I got this car in May of 2022 and now we're in February of 2024. So in 2 months I will officially have had this car for 2 years, and I'm going to talk about the pros and cons, as well as all the problems this vehicle has had. So let's get started. First thing that I'm going to talk about is what I like about this vehicle. What I like about this vehicle is, first of all, this car was my great-grandmother's car. This was my great-grandmother's car. She bought it used in 2002 and stopped driving it around 2019 or so. But she held on to it because I had an interest in it. I've sat in this car. I've known this car since I was very young, since I was like 3, 4, 5 years old. I've sat in it. I've known this car a long time. Take this over here. I've known this car for a long time, so it does have some sentimental value to me. And not to mention, she didn't drive it that much, so it has a little mileage. And also, she didn't drive it in the snow, so the frame and stuff wasn't all rotted out. And I know some people think, well, it's a 24, 20, almost, well, this thing was made in April of 2000, so it's technically almost a 24-year-old car. But this car is really nice for being 24 years old. But I know some people are going to say it's almost a 24-year-old car. It's not safe anymore. Well, that depends on where you get it from, how many miles is on it, how was it maintained, and all that. I got this vehicle from somebody who is a family member, like I said, my great-grandmother, and I trust her. So I know this car has been well taken care of over the years. And it has only had one minor accident. And when I say accident, I don't mean an accident involving any other vehicles. The accident was, this car used to be kept in the garage up in Connecticut, where my great-grandmother used to live. And what happened was, when she was pulling it into the garage, she accidentally, instead of stepping on the brake, she stepped on the gas. And what that did was she accidentally ended up hitting the back of the garage. And fortunately, nobody was hurt. But the impact resulted in the deck being separated from the house. And there was also some hidden damage that was done to the vehicle that I didn't realize until the AC system was fixed. What had happened was it had messed up the radiator and the AC condenser, and we only figured that out after I had the air conditioning system repaired. Because even though I live in a northern state, the summertime it gets unbearably hot, and I just couldn't live without air conditioning. So that was fixed. And another issue that had happened with it was in October of 2023, September, October of 2023, the ABS light and the brake light were coming on and off. And initially, it sounded like a wheel bearing, but come to find out it was not a wheel bearing. What caused the issue was when the car was being serviced, because my mom drove it from Connecticut all the way here to where I live, and it was about a 5-hour drive. And what had happened was, when the car was serviced, they replaced they replaced all the tie rods and the axles and stuff, And what happened was one of the axles was not installed correctly. I forget on which wheel it was. I think it was the front driver's side wheel. It was not connected properly, and so I used the tire jack to jack it up in the air, and we noticed that the wheel was loose. And I initially thought it was a wheel bearing, but like I said, it was not a wheel bearing. But that's since been fixed. Haven't had any more issues with that. The next issue that I had to do with the AC system, which is a common problem on these cars. What had happened was the AC system, the AC compressor rather. I know that the condenser was damaged, but I noticed when I turned on the AC system, come to find out what was causing it was the AC clutch was getting stuck. And the compressors on these cars, although these are not terrible cars by any means of the imagination, the issue was the AC compressor began to disintegrate and it was seizing up. And that's what caused that issue. The AC compressor has since been replaced, but one time when I was in December of 2022, when I was driving home, the AC, I had the heat on. I knew the air conditioning was broken when I got this vehicle, but I was using the heating system, which also engages the AC compressor. And what happened was when I was driving it home, I started to smell a burning smell through the vents inside the vehicle. And I noticed that when I was stopped at a stoplight, the RPMs were dropping real low, and I thought, well, it might have a vacuum leak or something like that, but also the burning smell was concerning. So I turned off the AC system and the problem ceased. It stopped. And when I found out that's what it was, what I did temporarily until it was fixed was I pulled the relay for the AC system, for the AC compressor rather, just so I could drive it and use the heating system. I could drive it using the heating system without the AC compressor engaging. And then 2 months later, I had the AC compressor replaced and the condenser and the radiator. That was fixed. But when my dad was able to drive this car to the shop without any issue, and then when the mechanic tried to start the car to get it into the shop, it wouldn't start because the AC compressor had locked up entirely. Fortunately, it had happened when it was already at the mechanic shop and didn't happen when I was at school or anything like that. So fortunately, it didn't leave me stranded anywhere. But so that had to be replaced, and it was a rather expensive repair, but that was fixed. But then I noticed when summer came around, the AC system still was not working correctly, and come to find out what was causing that was there was also a leak in the AC line that was causing that. So that had to be fixed. That wasn't too expensive of a repair. Another issue that I've had with this vehicle, and this is a more recent issue that was fixed late last year in December, was when I was driving it, I noticed despite the brake warning light, which I'll show you, which is this light right here, it's on right now because I have the parking brake engaged, but when I was driving, this light was coming on and off, and there was no ABS light, and I didn't hear any noises from any of the wheels or anything like that. Also, the low coolant sensor is broken, but that's not really, I can live with that. That's not really a huge issue, which is why the low coolant light is on right now. But anyway, the brake light was coming on, and come to find out what was causing it was initially I thought the brakes were worn out, but what was causing it was the cable for the emergency brake was stuck, and that's what was causing the issue. So that's what was causing that issue, and fortunately that was fixed. And also another issue this car has had, and this isn't really a big issue, but annoying nonetheless, is first of all, these door panels have a tendency to fall apart. Another issue that I've had is that this rear door lock back here does not work. As you can see, if I hit the, don't know if you can, actually I'll show it to you this way. This rear door lock back here doesn't work anymore, so you have to do it manually. As you can see, if you do it that way, it just ignores you. So if you want to open it, you have to reach back here and do it manually, which isn't really a big deal. It's just kind of annoying sometimes. But yeah, for something this old, it's been a good car, even though when things have gone wrong with it, it is rather frustrating, as it is with most vehicles when things break. But for this thing being 24 years old, pretty solid made vehicle. Definitely better than, say, the newer Fords. If you guys have watched some news stories and whatnot, the newer Fords have had tons of recalls on them. So what else has gone wrong with this vehicle? Not much. Another thing that doesn't work anymore is that this car does have adjustable pedals, but they don't work anymore. And also another issue that I had that we fixed ourselves was the power mirror switch was not working anymore, so that had to be fixed. Before that, you had to adjust the mirrors manually, which is kind of difficult, especially because you have to reach over here and adjust it by hand. But now that that's been fixed, the power mirrors work perfectly fine. It was just the switch that was old and worn out and had to be replaced. But other than that, this car has been pretty good to me. I'll start it up for you guys real quick. As you can see, it runs perfectly fine. It runs great, and it shifts really nicely. I personally prefer hydraulic power steering over the newer electronic ones. I just like the feel of it better, albeit that's just personal opinion. And the final issue that I've had with this that wasn't a huge issue to fix was the turn signal bulb in the rear had gone out. This turn signal, what had happened was the rear, I noticed when I was driving it, it started flickering really quickly. And what that does is that it not just on Fords but other cars, what that does is that it screws up the circuitry for the turn signals. And so that's why when a bulb goes out, it'll start flashing really quickly. And usually, and sometimes it'll also do that if you replace the bulbs with LEDs, but these are all normal bulbs. So that's what caused that issue. But other than that, this car has been really good to me. Nothing extremely expensive regarding the engine or transmission, fortunately. And even though these cars don't have the best transmissions in the world, it only has 71,312 miles on it. So not many issues there. But anyways, that's just a quick recap of what it's been like owning this 2000. By the way, that's not flashing, that's just the camera making it do that. But anyways, that's just a quick recap of what it's been like owning this 2000 Mercury Sable for almost 2 years. So thank you for watching.